We are the keepers of the flame, the sacred order. Let the ceremony begin.
And today, faithful acolytes, we take a look at this. And what it is from Merf's, it is the Fool's Paradise. And I will be the first to admit I don't know why this is called Fool's Paradise, but there we have it. All right, so let's take a little look-see here, shall we? We shall. We start off with water, mango, roasted red pepper, white vinegar, garlic, salt, orange juice, ghost chili, and monk fruit sweetener. So one of the things with one of the defining characteristics of Merf's is the monk fruit sweetener. Little black particles here. Not quite sure what those are. Probably pepper, I'm assuming. Pepper of some kind, either black pepper. Oh, maybe the roasted red pepper. That's probably it. So the monk fruit sweetener, I think, is in almost every one of the Merfs that I've had to this point. Is the dog Merf? I don't know. Cool name for the dog if it is. You can see it's this very vibrant orange. And I'll be honest, it reminds me of a carrot sauce. Just the color. Because a lot of those are very, very brightly orange colored sauces as well. Despite it being ghost pepper, it's far enough back that there really is not a great degree of heat to this. It's a very, very tame sauce. Let's have a look at it here in the old spoon made out of plastic that doesn't like things to stick to it. You see it's a bit fibrous. See, it holds its shape fairly well. This doesn't run. This is if I do this, it's loose enough that it will spill out of the spoon if I try to hold it upside down. But it is a fairly loose, it almost looks like an orange applesauce, almost like a baby food. That's actually kind of what it looks like. Coloration is not bad. I don't mind it. I actually got this. So if you've been following in the YouTube community section where I just kind of put random stuff, if you go back to, it's either October or November when I started to get on this pizza kick, and I was running around looking for sauces because what I had on my shelf wasn't what I thought would be good there. And my taste towards pizza sauces is getting a lot narrower the older I get. Part of it's because I've just had so many sauces at this point that I've kind of honed in on what my favorites are. But I picked this up. I was looking for something with pineapple because something with pineapple, the fruit-based sweet hots with pineapple, I really tend to like those if they're thick enough. And this is certainly a thick sauce. But so we have mango and ghost chili, which ghost chili is fine, but mango is in pizza is not really a thing I think of. But nothing ventured, nothing gained. So I went for it, and I had this on my list anyway after the other two Merf sauces that the new ones that Roger got me to try out, and I meant to get to them for a while, and I just didn't. But I had a couple of sauces on the hit list. This was one of them. So, but anyway, let's take this baby for a spin, shall we? There's a bit of a roasted flavor from the roasted red peppers. The mango is not very strong here. A nice little bit of fairly mild heat, I would say, from the ghost peppers. Not, they don't even have a heat rating on this, I don't think, but, oh, actually they do. They have it right near the top of the scale. Yeah, no. So that would put it at 8. Where they have it, would be an 8 for heat. Definitely not even close. I think I gave this a 1. You can check it out in the written review available in the description down below on the link. But this has got, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 ingredients before the ghost chili. It is 8 out of 9. What's interesting though is that there's a lot of pulpiness to the sauce. Texture wise, I always think this is a carrot sauce because it is so pulpy. But I guess that's where the mangoes come in. But there's not a lot of intense mango flavoring, oddly. We kind of an amalgamation of, it's sort of a vague tropical fruit, maybe a little bit of a citrus note in there, and then the roasted red peppers. You don't get a lot of the roasted red pepper flavor per se, but you get more of the roasted aspect of it, and then the ghost chili doesn't really contribute to the flavor at all. It's just more of a heat thing, but really interesting sauce. But I didn't really enjoy it on pizza too much, so what we're going to do is go to the old tried and true, one of the best applications, in my view, for a fruit-forward, for a fruit-based sweet hot, is chicken tendies. And so this sauce, you wind up using a lot of it because it is hard, it doesn't spread. It's hard to get coverage. So you have to use quite a lot of this, which is fine because it's not, it's not particularly hot. And it's not super aggressive in terms of the flavor. So there's about an ounce left in this. This is one where I've kind of run it down towards the bottom, getting a feel for it. But I like it best on this chicken tendies. I don't think this is a super flexible sauce. It's not bad when you put on other stuff. Don't get me wrong. It just isn't. It doesn't. I don't know. How do I explain it? It just doesn't really contribute a lot to stuff like burgers and some of the other things. Being fruit based, it's, for me anyway, already sort of limited because fruit based sauces, the sweets in particular, I don't think go with things like cream sauces, for instance. So you're already up against it a tad just by that. And most fruit-based sauces generally are just a bit low on the flexibility side. So I do like this sauce. So obviously I'm going to finish it. I have no problems at all with that. No qualms whatsoever there. I do like it a little bit better when it's warmer as well. I think this would probably be pretty good on pork. I don't know if I'm going to get to try it with this bottle. The texture is just really curious to me. I've had a lot of mango sauces. A lot of them. If you go to the table of contents for the blog, you'll be able to see that. I've never had anyone make I've never had mango sauce that came across quite in this way before, though. Really, really interesting take on it. And of course, I pretty much adore ghost chilies. Always a good nod there. I mean, flavor-wise, this is pretty good. Very unique. A very unique flavor. I can't think of anything else quite like it. Getting a little bit of mango now. Real little bit of the red chili. Sorry, the red bell pepper, the roasted red. It's a sauce. One of the issues with this is that the sauce is so thick. That's a bit difficult to agitate. Monk fruit as a sweetener, I think, is also really, really interesting. It gives all of these sauces kind of their own unique yet recognizable sort of quality to them. So that's something that Merf's is using as an identity of their sauces. It's pretty smart. There was somebody else that was using prickly pear cactus, which was interesting. I know the Angry Goat has used it a couple times. Some people use agave a lot. Monk fruit is interesting to use. I don't know of anybody other than these guys that's using it. This is a good sauce. I mean, in some respects, I sometimes feel like Colorado is a mecca for hot sauces. There's a number of companies out of Colorado producing stuff. One of these days, I'm gonna get around. If Kendall doesn't over at Tasting the Heat, check out his stuff. But if he doesn't get around to getting it up, one of these days I'll maybe devote myself to the research project of figuring out which state has the most companies producing hot sauces. Certainly, Colorado's going to be in the conversation. But I know Vermont has a few as well. Some of the East Coast states, I think, have a really good, vibrant scene going on as well. And I mean, it makes sense, with plants love humidity, and certainly that is one thing the East Coast states have in abundance. How far down we are. This is a sauce, okay. Where do I quantify it? Overall, I would say it's a very pleasant sauce. The heat level is, I'll put it's over a 1 certainly, but it's not quite to a 2 for me. So I'm not gonna give it. I don't think I gave it the push. I wouldn't now either. I'd say it's a good. It's a good, like, slightly edging past the 1, maybe 1.25 ish. As far as heat level, very, very pleasant. It's a pleasant burn. It's not a overwhelming, overpowering, run screaming for the ice cream. Certainly not that. It's very pleasant. The flavor is not what I would say is world beating by any means, but also very pleasant. It's a pleasant flavor. It's one of those things, and I'm glad when I have it. But honestly, it's not. It doesn't wow me to the point where I'm going to run out and keep a case of this on my shelf or anything like that. There are very few hot sauces I have on repeat. At this point, I've reviewed well over 400 of them, maybe even closer to 500 of them at this point. I've reviewed a lot of sauces, and it is a handful that I really have on repeat. And they're mostly in the style that I like the best. So things like a Louisiana style, Pure Death, definitely one of my all-time favorites. The Tamazula Black Label. There are just some stuff that they just resonate, but not a lot of sauces honestly do that. A lot of them I really enjoy them at the time, and then when they're done, I put it in my mental notebook to say, okay, if I ever get to the point where I want to have something on hand like this style, this would be a good one to get again. But you're talking almost like a like or a like a lot, and the difference between that and like love. Like I love the other sauces. I love some of the other styles, and getting to that sort of thing where you love it to the point where you always want to have it, or at least like in the case of Pure Death, I don't always want to keep that on hand just because I would eat that and pretty much like very little else if left to that, and trying to build a library, which is more or less what I'm doing. You can't really do that if you're reading the same book over and over, right? So that one I try to just keep it to an annual basis. I'll get a few bottles, and once it's gone, I'll try to hold off until another year, just because, the whole concept of FOMO, I don't know that necessarily applies to me, but I really don't want to miss out on some spectacular sauce that I could be enjoying. And there's a few that have come down the pipelines where a lot of them wind up being in the sauce of the year running, and I'm like, man, I'm kicking myself. This isn't in that category. This is more, like I said, just a really pleasant sauce. It's a great change of pace. I'm glad I picked it up. I enjoyed this bottle. Like I said, it's pretty much almost at the end here, and I'll wipe this out, and I'll be happy I had it. And definitely Merf will be on my radar for any of the other stuff that I haven't tried from them that doesn't have onions. But it's not a sauce I think I would find myself anxious to return to. But it's definitely pleasant enough while it's here. Some movies like that, some music, some various pieces of art are like that. And that's kind of the category I would put this sauce in. But yeah, very, very, very enjoyable, very pleasant sauce. Relatively low on the heat scale, and definitely a unique spin on the mango sort of fruit-based sweet hots. So like I said, I mean, it's worth a go probably if you haven't had it before. So there it is, the Merf's Fool's Paradise Hot Sauce.
Now go forward in peace. Serve the flame.